This week on Q&A, our guest is Mark Levin, host of the nationally syndicated talk radio program, The Mark Levin Show.
Mark Levin, why do you do what you do?
Because I love it, because I want to affect change in this country. Not the kind of change Barack Obama talks about, not the kind of change the leftists talk about, but change that promotes liberty and capitalism, that promotes our founding principles. And to be behind a microphone and talk to millions of people while I do it, I mean, it's the greatest job on earth.
Now, I asked that question that way on purpose because you do more than just a talk show.
Yes, I do.
Landmark Legal Foundation.
That's correct. I run a legal foundation. One has nothing to do with the other, but I run a legal foundation, have for many years. Landmark Legal Foundation is a conservative legal foundation that promotes those very principles: free enterprise, private property rights, low taxes, school choice.
On the radio.
Yep.
How long have you been on?
I had been on in all forms 5 years or so. Yeah. I started on Sundays from noon to 2 on WABC in New York. Now, that's not a bad place to start. It's the biggest talk station in America. But I was prompted to do that by Sean Hannity, by Rush Limbaugh, and I had a great mentor, Phil Boyce, who was the program director at WABC. And I would fill in now and then for Hannity or be a guest, and he said, why don't you give this a shot? We can't pay any money. I said, that's all right. So I did it, because I figured, what the hell, it's a good place to learn. So I learned it as best I could, and then one thing led to another.
Where do you do it, the call-in show?
Where do I do it from?
Yeah.
A bunker. Beyond that, I can't say, because I don't want people harassing me while I do the show. I don't do it from a normal studio. Let me put it that way.
All right. As you know, you have a technique that you use.
Yes.
Now, we're going to play a number of cuts from your past shows, but I want to first ask you,
yes,
did you develop it on purpose, or is it just you?
Whatever you hear on the radio is me. I am by myself when I'm doing the show. My producer, my call screener are not in the same room with me. They're not even in the same town with me. So I am there listening to the caller, and nobody there to tell me what to say or do or nod at me or wink at me or wave me off. And I'm reacting as I would normally react if I'm having a conversation with somebody, which can annoy my wife to no end, but still, this is the way I am. If I think people are just BSing me or going through talking points or something like that, they're wasting my time, they're wasting the listener's time. And if I'm bored, I figure everybody else is bored too. So what you hear is me. It's not an act.
And you live in this area somewhere?
I live in this area somewhere.
I assume you don't tell people where you live.
Well, you know, I don't tell them where I live, and I don't tell them what kind of exotic sports car I drive, because I don't want people. I have supporters who I love, and then I have people who hate my guts, and I don't want them bothering me very much. I don't want them tracking me down.
We went to your website, and on your website you have listed a lot of your previous shows, and so we thought we would start by going back to the earliest one we can find in March of this year.
Yeah.
Here is an excerpt. Let's listen.
All right.
You're on screen, by the way, as we're listening.
Okay.
These three candidates are the worst. A nation of 300 million people? This is the best we can do? A community activist who belongs to a church that hates America? A pastor that spews anti-Semitism? Who's a hate monger? Who's anti-whitey? Anti-Negro? That's the kind of candidate? And we're supposed to be told, see no evil, hear no evil, and all the rest of it? Baloney! Listen to his wife. Hillary Clinton, that's the best we can do? And accomplished nobody? She hasn't accomplished a damn thing. She's mean. She's nasty. That's why her party's rejecting her. They can't even stand her. And look at us. John McCain. We pick one of two senators, him and Lincoln Chafing. I know it's Chafee. I call him Chafing. Him and Lincoln Chafing. Both of whom voted in '01 against these critical tax cuts that help spur economic growth. We take one of those two and nominate him as the Republican for president, and then we're told by Jack Kemp and all the others and Phil Gramm, oh, he's good. He's changed his mind. This guy's great. We're told he's great on national security when he's not. He's not. Look at these three candidates. And the libs love them, though. Have you noticed the lib media? Oh, McCain, you know, he can reach to the centrists and the independents, meaning the liberals. You know, a lot of independents don't join the Democrat Party, not because they're centrists, because they're nuts.
We're just
Well, that's great stuff.
couple of days. We're just a couple of days away from the election. Where does that put you now?
Well, I stand by that. I mean, I think these two nominees are barely adequate. And I will be voting for John McCain because I'm voting against Barack Obama. But the Republicans did themselves a huge disservice by nominating him when they had other candidates they could have nominated. But this close to the election, I'm not going to dump on John McCain because I want him to win. My attitude is, from my point of view, we have to defeat Barack Obama, get McCain elected, and then stop McCain from implementing half the things that he wants to implement. It's a two-step process. But the big problem is there isn't a conservative in this race. And so a lot of conservatives are very frustrated right now, and that's why they like Sarah Palin, who is a conservative. But I stand by everything I said then.
You wrote in a piece that appeared in the National
I'm
Review.
prolific, aren't I?
Yes.
Yes.
In the National Review online back in January of this year. You said if conservatives don't act now to stop McCain, he will become the Republican nominee and he will lose the general election. You still stand by that?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
But what do conservatives want right now? What is it more than anything else you're worried about? Define conservatism today.
Well, conservatism today is what conservatism was yesterday, and that's the point. We have some people who are trying to redefine it, who are really undermining it. Some who write for the New York Times and other publications. Conservatism doesn't need to be redefined. Conservatism is based on hundreds of years, thousands of years of human experience. Conservatism is based on the model of learning from human experience, what works and what doesn't work. Edmund Burke, Adam Smith, more recently Russell Kirk, William Buckley, and so forth. Conservatism promotes individual liberty within an ordered society. That creates societal harmony. Government is necessary but ought to be limited. It's not possible that a few human beings can make good decisions for tens of millions of human beings because man is imperfect and he will always be imperfect. And so trial and error, for instance, in our economic system, in our what was our free market system, these are good things. Failure creates success. Most successful people have failed more than they've succeeded. So all these things, human activity in a free environment, are what conservatism promotes. All I hear today is, well, we haven't regulated enough. Well, we need to re-regulate. Well, we need more government activity and more and more and more. And yet, I even look at this financial crisis, which in large measure was unleashed by the government and social policies imposed on banks, giving loans to poor people. Now, look, giving loans to poor people means many of them aren't going to be paid. And then you have these other companies that